And please make Dhananjay as a co-host also.
Just a second. Yeah, I've done it. So recording in progress. Thank you, Sumit. Thank you. So first of all, a very good evening, everyone. Myself, PA Rahul Kumar. Welcome everybody on behalf of VIPCA, VIP Road Chartered Accountant Association, which we fondly call as VIPCA. So today is the 7th session in a row of 8 sessions. So we are having a Tech Friday for 8 continuous Fridays, 8 continuous weeks. So today we are having 7 sessions. So we are very glad as the bank audit is around the corner. So we thought this would be a very relevant topic. So as AI is very relevant and bank audit is very relevant, so we wanted to have this topic. So hope that our audience will get the maximum benefit out of it. So I'll welcome our President CA Rahul Rumta for his opening remarks.
Hold on. I got a call in between. Sorry. Yes.
Hello, Rahul, you are audible?
Am I not audible?
Yes.
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay. So thank you, Rahul, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another session of Tech Friday. Thank you, Sumit, for organizing this wonderful series. I think we are in episode 7 of 8. We have got one more episode left. So again, very important topic, as every one of us or most of us are now going to go on bank audit. But Power Query for bank audit, I don't know how many of us will use it, right? In fact, right now we are also having a physical session. Of course, it's a CP session on using AI for bank audit. So there also I mentioned that imagine how things have changed. That 6, 7 years, 8 years ago, we were talking about using Excel for bank audit, and now after almost a decade, we are now talking about AI, using AI for bank audit. So that's how the world has changed. That's how India has changed, and that's how our profession has changed. Right. So, again, very important topic today, and thank you, Dhananjay, for taking our time out from your busy schedule on a Friday evening and sharing your thoughts with us. I'm sure every one of us will have a great session today. Thank you, and over to Rahul. Back to Rahul.
Thank you, Bia. So as our President Rahul Rumta told that this would be going to be a very great session. So I would also request our chairman for today, Neeraj Agarwal Bhaiya, to kindly speak few words about the session.
Thanks, Rahul. Hi, Sumit. Hi, Dhananjay. Welcome to this session of Tech Fridays. And I'm sure all of us would be greatly benefited by his deliberations. So over to Rahul and Sumit for this.
Thank you, Neeraj Bhaiya. Thank you. I would request CA Sumit Biyani Bhaiya, our co-chairman, to speak few words about the session.
Just one quick word that, this is 7th session out of 8 series, and all these last 6 sessions have been uploaded on YouTube. The previous one was also related to bank audits, and Power Query is one of the most amazing tools and very underrated tools. So, and I hope Dhananjay would be able to help you, and you will be able to multiply your time with Power Query. So, with this words, back to you, Rahul.
Thank you, Sumit Bhaiya. Thank you for your kind words. So, as time is pressing, so I will not take much of the time because bank audit is around the corner. So I'll just briefly introduce the speaker for the day, who is CA Dhananjay Gokhale. So Dhananjay is a qualified chartered accountant in 2012. He is a BCom graduate. He has done multiple post qualification courses, as in he is a DISA qualified in December 2014, as well as he is a FAFD qualified in 2017. Professionally, he has worked with MP Chitale and Company in profile of mutual fund NAV calculation. He has also worked at Spandan Hearts Hospital as consultant. He has also served as functional consultant in Office Box Software Private Limited as a profile of development of web-based ERP module and data migration of Tally. He is partner in Kedar Gokhale and Company, chartered accountant firm, from 2015 to 2021 for 7 years. He is currently business intelligence developer in Perficient Incorporation with profile of Power BI, OneStream, among others. He has also delivered multiple trainings. Like he has delivered 50 plus webinars on financial report, import, Excel, cloud-based office management, and others. He has also delivered 15 plus physical sessions in various branches of ICAI in cities like Nagpur, Chandrapur, Wada, Dukle, and Kozhikode. And he is also a visiting faculty for NADT, National Academy of Direct Tax, for IRS officials. He has delivered 80 plus sessions as a contributory faculty in colleges like City Premier, GS College, Raisoni Group on Excel. He has wrote articles on information technology related topics in CA Journal of Nagpur and Calicut branch. He runs YouTube channel, which is a very famous channel. I hope everybody should subscribe to it. I have went through it. He runs YouTube channel by the name of Excel Kida and website excelkida.com for free Excel and IT related techniques for CAs. It really helps. It is very helpful. He has also conducted system audit and migration audits of cooperative banks with various CA firms. He has developed free of cost Excel add-in for chartered accountants and data analysts. He has developed and run website with free utilities for chartered accountants for generation of GSTR 9C handy browser extensions. He has developed and run open source project for loading tally data into database server for advanced data analysis. So with this, we can understand that he is a very resourceful person, as well as he is very much into this tech. So I hope the deliberation for the day would really help all the participants in chartered accountants to conduct our audit, which is the topic for the day. So I'll not take much of the time. Over to you, Dhananjay, for the deliberation.
So first of all, thank you, VIPCA session. So it took almost 1 minute to understand that VIPCA was a. So I was thinking that what VIPCA is. So then I connected. It's a VIPCA.
It is an abbreviation. It is an abbreviation which we fondly call.
Okay, so thank you, this VIPCA platform, for giving me chance. And so talk. So you all know that today is 28th and just 3 days left, or maybe some of you might say only 2 days left, because many of our CA members would go on 31st into the various branches and start asking for the report. So technically I consider 28, 29 or 30th. That is the last date. After that, we have to be in action. So let's try to make this an actionful session. So where I would not be just demonstrating, but even you would be practicing. I know 1 hour is a very short period. Maybe when 1 hour, I might be just able to complete one demonstration, but it's very important that our participants also try it and ask the question. So, because otherwise it would be sort of a YouTube video session where just a one-way demonstration is done. So I hope let's try to make this session as interactive and two-way. Okay, so let me start with the topic. Okay, so Power Query is not a very new thing. So now AI also came. So Power Query is also slowly gone into history, but at least it's newer than Excel. So Excel came, I think, in 1985 somewhere. So Power Query came in 2013. So we can say at least it is not so much old, just 12 years old. Okay, so that kid is 12 years old. But the reason I chose Power Query was very specific. So as we know, so we are in 2025 now. All our banking and all the systems, they always run 5 to 10 years back in technology. So if we are in 2025, so we can say maybe banks and their system, let's consider 5 to 8 years they're running back. So they must be having Office 2016 version or 19 version. So we can expect that now Power Query has started arriving in bank system, and AI is again, even that would arrive. But for now, let's consider that banking system have now upgraded to Office 2016 and 19. So we have at least that version of Excel available where Power Query is already inbuilt into Excel. Okay, so trying to solve a very recent thing with a recent thing. Okay, solution. Okay, now the things I would be demonstrating, not necessary that is the only tool you have available. You can do it through Visual Basic macros also. You can do it through AI also, or anything. You can do it through Python script also. Power Query is very simple to automate, so it doesn't take a coding for the Power Query. So that's the reason I chose Power Query. Okay, so I think let me share the screen and directly hit, since we are short of time considering the demonstration. So maybe I will turn off my video so that I get full bandwidth for my screen.
So Dhananjay,
So
if
please
you
let me know.
want, we can extend for next 10-15 minutes also, provided you are available. So that's okay.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely will try. Okay, so okay, let me start with the story. Okay, so I have one PPT that is only for my reference. So generally my PPTs are 3 to 4 slides and it's over. And mostly it's a bullet point, which is a guidance for me, not for audience. Okay. Now, let me start with a very common, typical answers when you go to a bank audit. Okay, the very first thing bank people would say that, sir, this is report. We don't have this report available or download. If you want, we on the screen. Okay, that is a very typical stereotype answer. So we try to means counter them that, let's say, sir, at least can you please download this report? The very first thing they are gonna say, sir, this is not available for download. So the very next response means I am narrating the story which I faced in the 4 years of my bank audit. So first year, hardly I was able to get any file. Next year we improved. So we told, sir, can you please contact your system department and get that report downloaded? So now the train went one station further. So they said, okay, we can download this for you. Okay. Then branch manager said, sir, that file doesn't open. So, okay, so let me recreate that scenario. So I will download that file as if I have received it over an email. Okay. So I will download a file. Just assume that we received this file over email. So I chose one CC account, okay, to start with. And I want to analyze that CC account. So the very first thing, typically we encounter that, sir, file doesn't opens in Excel. So if you right click it, it will not open. So you see an open with. Okay. So that's a very typical thing. But don't worry. So files are there. Files are meant to be open. They might not open in one shot, but they are definitely meant to be open. So just install a software called Notepad++. Okay. Now, 90% chances are there you would not be able to install third-party software. Don't worry. Okay, don't worry. There is a simple hack. Okay, rename this file. Okay, rename this file. Now I can see an extension called RPT. So that now this might seem very small to you on the screen. Don't worry. Generally, this file extension have RPT or .prn, something like this. Okay, so first instance they would not open. Don't worry. Just rename any of that file and change the extension to txt. Okay. Okay, so some frightening message would come. File might become unusable. Okay, so the Windows will always try to scare you. Okay, don't get scared. See, if it becomes unusable, we can again download it. Don't worry, can download it n number of times. Press yes. Okay. Sorry, I think I misspelled extension .txt. Okay, and moment you change the extension, the file extension also changes. Now you can double click and this should open the file in Notepad, Windows Notepad. Okay, very typical file. Now this file seems a bit okay. Okay, this file pretty much okay. Now one thing might happen. Okay, one thing might happen. Let me even show you that scenario. Sometimes what would happen, the font would be something like this, Arial font. Okay, the default one is Arial because Windows like their default a lot. Okay, so if I set this to Arial and again go back to the notepad. Okay, file might seem something like this, but don't worry. Even if this columns are seem to be means here and there, don't worry. Okay, the columns are intact. Only thing is that font is not perfect for weaving. Okay, now let's open this in Excel. Let's try to convert this file into Excel. So naturally, there are multiple ways to achieve this. Okay. Now, the very first thing you should do is that in the notepad, always go somewhere in the font settings and try to make this font as called consolas. Okay, consolas. Consolas. So with this font, the statement which can be printed on a dot matrix printer, if that file appears like that statement, it would look something like this. Let me zoom this a bit. Okay, it would appear something like this. Even if it appears something like this, our work is done. Okay, don't worry, we can very easily convert it to Excel. Okay, now there are multiple ways. One typical way of doing means traditionally I used to do is that I used to copy this entire text and I used to paste this text in Excel. Okay, then I used to select this. Then I used to go into data tab and text to column. Okay, then fix width. Then I had to very precisely uh, check that where this column ends. Okay, so there are multiple columns here. So now this is a big trial error, that where my deposit column ends, where my withdrawal column ends, any mistake. So you can do something like this. This is one of the way I used to do. Like check number, it ends somewhere here. Okay, this is an extra column, so I can double click and move it. And narration column, we are not very much sure where it ends. So on arbitrary basis, something like this you can do. Okay, this was the one of the way. Let's treat this as column DMY, date month year, since it is an Indian format setting. Finish. Okay, this was the very traditional way of doing. Even I used to do this when I started with the second year of my bank audit. But then I realized that so this seems very easy in the first scenario. Okay, but just assume that if you want to analyze 10 to 20 statement like this, then you would be wasting 5 to 10 minutes each time you were doing this, because this step might seem very easy to do, but you have to do this very carefully. Any column, any mistakes, and all the data would go here and there. Okay, so and this would take means human intervention of manually doing this. Okay, from this successive year, I improved. Okay, so I tried the Power Query. So I will insert one more sheet, and now let's try to automate this, because during the statutory bank audit, our time is very crucial. In 4 to 5 days, you have to you can assume that you have to complete your one branch. Okay, so technically you have very less time to deal with. So let's try to automate this thing so that we don't end up wasting all our time, in majority of our time, doing all this manual stuff. Okay, so this is method number 2 of doing this using the Power Query. Okay, now Power Query comes as so Power Query was initially introduced as an Excel add-in in Office 2010, 10 and 13 version, and Office 2016 onwards, it was directly integrated into Excel. So irrespective of you want it or not, it will come embedded inside the Excel. So they place it inside a data tab. So get data, or if you have Excel 2016, maybe it would be just data. Okay, something like this would come in data tab. Now this supports an automation. So it is not a Visual Basic based automation where scripting or coding is done. So you don't require any coding. Okay, so you just need to click on the data tab, get data from file and from text CSV file. Okay, text or CSV file. I'll go to desktop. So now since you change the extension to .txt, so the very first thing you should do is change extension to .txt so that this file becomes very easily browsable in the Power Query editor. And you can also double click and open it in Notepad just to have some idea that what type of report or what type of statement is. Okay, so I will browse this file. Something like this would come. So in the first go, even Microsoft Excel was not able to really split this into columns, multiple columns. Don't worry. I will press transform data and it would give me an opportunity to manually do this, or not manually. It is an automation window. Okay. So just like we did here, text to column. So Power Query is basically recording all the action I'm doing. Okay. Which Excel cannot do. Okay. So the very first thing is that we open an text file. Okay. We open it. So it recorded the step 1. Next thing I will select this entire column and I would go to transform. Okay. And in the transform, you will find a step called split columns. Okay. Split this text which is there in single cell into multiple columns. Okay. Now, if it would have been a CSV file, I would have chosen delimiter. But CSV file will naturally open in Excel. So we don't have to do really anything if we have CSV file. But this is called a fixed width file. Okay, this is a fixed width file. So a dot matrix printer friendly file, I would say, in very raw terms. So I will split the column based on the positions. Okay, based on the position. Now here, I need to tell Power Query that what are the column endings. Okay, in which position. So Power Query starts counting characters from 1. Okay, so very first character it will call it as 1. Okay, 1. So 0 is the first character, 5 is the second character, like this. So it is asking that where our column ends. Okay, please provide me column ending positions. Okay, column ending positions, so that I can split this single line, entire line like this, entire line into columns. Okay, so let's start counting from column number 1. So if I click here, somewhere here in the notepad, you will get COL1, column 1. So this is my column 1. So if I go here, so technically my column ends here. So there is an extra space. Okay, so technically date column ends with an extra space. So column 12. Okay, column 12. But please be careful. Notepad starts counting from column 1, but Power Query starts from counting 0. Okay, it starts from 0 and Notepad would start its counting from 1. So I need to reduce 1 from the column ending. So if I get 12, I have to write 11 in the Power Query. Okay, so difference of 1. So I need to start based on the 0. Okay, 0, comma. Then I would need to tell that where my first column ends. Okay, so I'm getting position number 12. That means 11 for Power Query. 11. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I'll press OK and let's check if it can automate this. So if you see the date column, it split. So 0 to 11 and 11 to remaining 2 columns. Okay, and if you see, it recorded a step. It recorded 2 steps. Okay. Second step, it tried to infer that what type of data I am having in this column. Okay, and you can remove any steps in Power Query. So if you see, it is a very simple scripting. Okay, it is not like Visual Basic scripting where you have typical Visual Basic code. Okay, it is very simple scripting. So I will remove this. Okay, now in this fashion, let's tell Power Query the remaining column endings. Okay. Okay. Now this particular column, this is very tricky. Okay, we really don't know where it ends, so it would be done on the trial error basis. So I'm considering that or assuming that it is ending somewhere here. Okay, before the check numbers, because even your IFSC UTR number can come here. So let's say it ends at column 64. That means 63. Like this, I will write. Okay. check number I can see clearly ends here. So I can click at the end of check number 74. So I will write 73, comma, deposit ends here 92. That means 91. Withdrawal column 111. That means 110. Okay, now balance I should ideally take here. So debit should be debit credit DRCR should be shifted to different columns. So I will click somewhere where the amount ends, balance column 130. That means 129. The last column you need not specify. Okay, it will automatically infer. Let me press OK. So all of statement got split into multiple columns. Let's validate. So if you make any mistake, don't worry. You have to just remove these steps and again keep on adjusting your column number until you perfectly get this split the data into columns. Okay, this step would automatically come. So first time you will have to experiment, but Power Query is making and record or recording your steps. Okay, for automation purpose. Okay, so we finish with this. Now our next step is data sanitization. Okay, so we have many extra rows here. Okay, so I'm interested in, let's say, only those rows where deposit or withdrawal column means information is there. Okay, so I'm not interested in this narration like this UTR number, sender, bank, all this. Okay, the real narration is somewhere here. Okay, so I'm interested in this row where I can see a narration. Okay, date and either withdrawal or deposit amount. So let us try to derive a pattern of deriving the row which we need to retain. Okay, so there are two ways of filtering the data. Either make a negative list or make a positive list of what we want to keep or what we want to remove. Okay, so I will try to go by positive way, that what I need, which rows or which pattern of rows I need to retain and remaining it would remove for me. So let's generalize this, that in any statement, in any row, the relevant row we require, you would at least find date. Okay. You might not find narration. You might find narration blank if something error happens. You might have amount in withdrawal or deposit at any time, not in both deposit and withdrawal. Okay, but you would definitely find a date here. So let me go back to Power Query and let me, okay, before this, we require one more step. I missed. So we need to name the columns. Okay, we need to name the column. So I'll have to double click and name the columns. So this is my date. This is my particulars. I have seen this column name sometime get jumbled up. Okay, or sometime Power Query doesn't infer it correctly. Okay, so manually you have to put check number CHQ. Okay, this is withdrawal. This is deposit. Double click, edit, press enter. Okay, this is our balance, and the last one is debit credit. So I'll write DRCR. Okay, so okay, now let's. So it recorded a rename column step. Okay, now let's try to achieve a pattern. Okay, so what I will do, I will tell Power Query that convert all the value in this entire date column into date. Okay, currently you can see ABC written here. That means Power Query thinks that there is a text in this column, but we know for sure that there is a date written here. So Power Query is not able to detect this. So because it found DAT written here or maybe cumulative total. So it found this words written here. So it got confused and it thought that it is a textual field, but we know for sure it is a date field. So I will select entire column and I will say that forcefully convert this to date. Convert all the values into date. So it is just like we select a column in Excel and go to format setting and change it to date. Okay. Date. Okay, now something is going to happen. Okay, so wherever a valid date it could find, it converted to it. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, I thought the I'm not. Okay, so wherever Power Query could find a valid date, so it displayed a valid date. Wherever that cell was blank, it wrote a null because Power Query blank is represented by NULL. Okay, so it is a technical term of writing a blank. Okay, NULL. NULL means this cell is blank. So in Excel you have blank cell. In Power Query you have null cell, which is a blank. And wherever it found text like cumulative, DAT, textual one, it couldn't really convert it to date. So it got confused. So it produced an error. Now I can see error written here. So, or a red sign here, which means it couldn't really convert every cell to date or null. Okay, valid date or blank. So now this is a blocker for us. Unless and until we are not clearing this error or invalid cell, error cells, we would not be able to go forward. Okay. So now it's very simple. Let's try to solve this error. So I will select the entire date column and I will say in the replace value, transform replace value drop down, replace error with, I will say replace, find and replace error cell with null. That means make those error cell as blank. Okay, NULL. So it would make those error cell as blank. If you see, it is recording the steps. Okay. Power Query was recording all the actions or steps we performed. Okay. So I went into the last step I performed. Okay. Now I can say, now I can instruct Power Query that wherever you find a date, please keep those cells, those rows and remaining rows kindly remove. Okay. Kindly filter out or remove it. Okay, so I will select this date column in the drop down menu and I will say remove empty or blank. You can say remove all the cells, all the rows where you find null written in this date column. Okay, remove empty. Now please notice all the unrequired rows got vanished. So it removed all those rows. So I'm just left with all the relevant row I need to keep. Okay, now let us set the formatting. Okay, so this is text. Perfect. Particulars is having text. Check number. Don't make it number because you could find a NFT, sorry, UTR number here. Okay, UTR number for your NFT transaction. Withdrawal, deposit, and balance. Okay, these are our numeric columns. So I will select this and I will say it can have decimal numbers. Okay, it can have decimal deposit. I'll say make this as a decimal number. Even the balance column, I'll click on the ABC and I will say make it as a decimal number. Okay, I think we are done. So these are all the automation action it recorded. And let me rename this table, rename this output as, let's say, CC account or maybe just statement. Okay, CC statement, CC account, whatever you want to name. So I will go here and rename all this thing I did as a statement so that I get to know that what really I was working on. Okay, I was working on a bank statement. Let's press close and load. Okay, so this was the output we were expecting. So let me format this. I will change this to comma style. Okay, now the very first question any of you would ask is that, Dhananjay, you wasted our 15 to 20 minutes to do this. Okay, you did this text to column in literally 2 minutes or maybe 1 minute and you wasted our 15 to 20 minutes. So what was the use of wasting all this 15 to 20 minutes? So let me tell you why did I really wasted your 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So let me tell you, this is a one-time thing I did. Okay. This is these 15 minutes were investment for me. How these are investment? Let me show you. Okay. So I will save this file. So let me, for the timing, save it on the desktop. I will save it on my desktop. So this I did for account. So my account was Marco Carbide. Don't worry. These are all the dummy data. So they are not real bank statement. Okay. So CC account, Marco Carbide. Okay. So this was the statement, CC account statement for the customer name Marco Carbide. Now, naturally, you would not be completing your audit by just looking at the one CC account. You will not be picking just one CC account and one CC account file. Okay. Definitely, means I used to pick up at least 4 to 5 files, maybe even more. So let's say next CC account I picked on this sampling basis, and I want to do a data analysis of this next one. So let me download this file. Okay. Now see how you can automate it. Okay, let me save this. So the very first thing we would do is that change the extension, rename this file and remove the default extension, PRN, RPT, or maybe you might not have an extension, and make it to TXT. Yes, okay, make it to TXT and just ensure that statement opens. Now you would think, okay, so we did an automation for a statement which was looking something like this. So I removed that top. Okay. Now don't worry. All this is fake data. Oh, entire data is fake. Okay. So let me do, I have special expertise in generating fake data. Statements like this, where I manipulate even all the narration, amounts, and I can do anything, play with anything. Okay. So this was all dummy data, looking at the real statement, bank statement. Okay. Now let me show you how this automation work. Okay. So our Marco Carbide customer bank statement we could import through Power Query. Now let me show you how you can import this. Okay. Now luckily the structure of this statement looks same. So we have date, okay, particular, check, withdrawal, okay, same the columns. Maybe this time I didn't remove this top headers because this statement was very long. So this was very short statement. So I removed this, but maybe this statement was very long. So I didn't remove it. Okay. But don't worry, you don't have to remove all this thing. Power Query will take care of this. Okay. Now see this in action. Okay. So I will keep both things in Notepad open. Okay. And see the magic. So not what I will do. I will make a copy of that Excel file. Control C, Control V, and CC account. Instead of that, I will. So it was for Marco Carbide. I will say this. I'm doing for Kranti. Okay. You can write the whole customer name. CC account Kranti Veer. So you'll have to enable the Power Query. Okay. Enable external connection Power Query. Now you just need to do one thing. Okay. You just need to click somewhere here. Okay. Go to Data tab, Queries and Connection. Okay. As of now, this account statement is Marco Carbide. Okay. So let me click inside this statement. Go to Data tab. Go to Queries and Connection, and let's right click and edit this. Let's right click this statement and edit this. So this will again open that Power Query window where we really did all this. Okay, now beauty of this is that you can really directly swap in one shot. So the very first step Power Query did was open file. Okay, open the file name which was residing on my desktop with the name ccmarcocarbide.txt. Okay, so next it split. Okay, then I rename the column. So I was recording all this action. The first action Power Query did is that open the file. Okay, this was an action for Power Query. So I will go to the first step and I will click on this gear icon. Okay, this settings icon, which we typically find it on our mobile phone. I will click here and I get a file browse dialog. So let me browse the new file. So I will say, please this time please browse Krantivir Trading Company. Okay, and I will import this and I'll click OK. Now, if you go to the last step of the Power Query, okay, so it opened the Krantivir account statement. Okay, now it was with all these headers. Okay, now check how it went. So it really automated all this thing. Okay, so all the automation steps Power Query uh, has run one by one. Okay, rename this like something like this. We replaced, we converted to date. Okay, then we rename the column. We replaced error with null like this. Filtered the extra rows and changed the type. Okay, so one shot. Now can you see the new account came for the Krantivir? 67 rows. Previously there were 200 or 300 rows. So in one shot you can just right click, go to edit. Okay, go to the first step, browse the new file, whichever new file you want. Okay, press OK, go to the last step and click close and load, and the new statement would come. So it would simply take 5 to 10 seconds to do this, to swap the new file. Okay, so the 10-15 minutes I would not say invested, we invested, we could automate this thing. So just imagine if you are on the first year of your bank audit. Okay, so I did this for one CC account. So most probably the CC account you would be getting the same structure. Okay, so you can, if you create this template file for one CC account, you can replicate this for multiple CC account. Then you would be having multiple branches for the same branch. So the same template file you can circulate with all of your colleagues who are working on the different branches. And this investment you did, this would help you for next all the 3 years of your remaining years. Okay, because banking system, the structure would not change. So their CC account or whatever account they are doing, the structure would remain same. So this same template file you create once, so you have to create it very perfectly for once. And if it is very perfect, this would, you can literally import hundreds of statements for multiple year of your bank audit using this method. Okay, so just 5 to 10 seconds, you can go here, right click, edit it and swap it with the new one. Okay, so that was all I had to demonstrate. Now, since it is a very just a 1 hour session, I cannot really explain you the analysis. The next portion is the analysis. So let me give you a gist of what analysis generally I would do. So, so for this, I will choose this Marco card by one. Okay. Now, generally, this is very helpful for analysis. Like, let's say you want to summarize that what are my total deposits. Okay. So you can do something like this. You can press alt equal to, and you can have debit credit totals. Now you would say what is great in this? What was great in this? Okay. So let me show you what is great here. Let's say I want to identify that. So this was a very typical statement where there were some red flags. Okay, so we went through the account statement and we were able to find similar party names. Okay, so they were dealing with 4 to 5 parties. So we tried to figure out that whether it is a stiffening of funds and was happening. Okay, because maybe you can have multiple clients or vendor, but one thing. Now let me keep this session on interactive mode. Okay, we have 5 minutes for analysis. Okay, let's invest 5 minutes, and this time I would not be answering, but it would be all of you who would be answering this. Okay, check this statement on the screen and what are the red flags which which are apparently visible. Okay, what are the red flags? Or what do you think we should be analyzing? Or anything appears suspicious here if you check the amounts or check the narration or check the balance. So you can, Sumit bhai, do we have power to unmute, or can anyone unmute themselves and
Yes,
answer?
all of them can unmute themselves.
Yes, all
Okay,
of them
so I would
can
insist.
unmute themselves.
So anyone who want to answer, please unmute. And I would be expecting answer. Okay, let's. So this is a real life scenario. The statement is dummy, but the scenario is a real life. Okay, so I just changed the amount, names, and everything, but scenario I didn't change. Okay, please suggest me as an auditor. What does you feel? What is unusual? Prima facie is there. You can write on the chat or maybe unmute and share your views.
So it is going to one party and coming from different parties. So it's basically a rotation of fund as such.
Okay. Okay. This is one of the red flags we can say. This is going to one party and coming from other party. So observation number one, maybe you can write this. If you find it suspicious, I would say let's report this in somewhere in our LFAR. So not necessary we can qualify, but we can definitely mention suspicious thing in LFAR. Okay. What more anyone can point out? So this was very good observation. Anything more? I will provide you some hint. Please check the withdrawal and deposit columns. Okay, there is some hint there. As an auditor, please uh, go through the statement and what is unusual thing in the amounts.
All are in round figures.
Yes, exactly. So this is a suspicious. Let's say you are selling goods. Okay, at least you would charge GST, or maybe this is of 2017. No, 2017 GST was there. Okay, so definitely GST would have been charged. So I'm very sure. Uh, so amount should not be in perfectly round like this 05, 205, 500,000. Okay, so this was also one of the suspicious thing. Okay, any more red flags or orange, yellow flags you see? Let me provide you one more hint. Okay, so this was a CC account, and the sanction limit was 7 CR. Okay, sanction limit was 7 CR. Let me scroll through this randomly. There are 5 to 6 or maybe 7 to 8 red flags. 5 to 6 you can very easily identify. Maybe one or two I might not be even identify very easily. Okay, two observations we could make. So I will request everyone, all of our audience, please start analyzing and just take into consideration that the sanction limit is 7 CR. Now, what is the third red flag which you notice?
So very close to overdrawn balance.
Correct.
So I would request all others to please unmute and speak.
Yeah, please treat it as an interactive session or as if we are sitting in front of each other, and whatever you feel, maybe it is incorrect observation, no worries. See, it is not about right or correct. As an auditor, we cannot say that this is right or this is wrong, but we can only point out that this seems suspicious for us. Okay. Okay, so Sumit bhai told very correct thing. So very close to the limit. And one more observation can anyone make? Now, something about dates can anyone make? This is something about the dates. Can you check the dates and anything strange with when you consider a date? Okay, let me give you some hint. Please analyze this row and anything suspicious. So only 4 to 5 rows I have selected. Please analyze this and what is your prima facie observation if you just focus on these 4 to 5 rows of the statement. Okay, I selected.
So the objective is to keep the balance just below 7 crore rupees.
Yeah, exactly. So the very month end or maybe month end, so they will introduce a credit and try to bring the balance below. Okay, so this is a set pattern. So they attempt to bring this balance below 7 CR. Okay, for entire month they would use 7 CR limit or almost stay close to 7 CR, and somewhere when it attempts to cross, they will immediately introduce some deposit and try to bring it. Okay, and the month end they would definitely try to bring it. Okay, very good observation. Okay, now some more interesting analysis. Okay, now what more you can do this? So let's try to analyze keywords. So most, let's say if we focus on deposit side, so I will say wherever there is a number in deposit. So I will say, let's say greater than in the deposit column, if you find any amount greater than 10,000. Okay, so that we don't left are not left with reversal of charges and all the small payments. Okay, now just make a note of few parties. So these are Amrut Industrial, Arena Traders. Okay, then Radhe Enterprise. Now there is one very good analysis you can do. Okay, let's say Amrut Industrial. Okay, just put a filter on the any deposit or withdrawal column, and next try to find out keyword based thing. Okay, so let's say wherever I find word Amrut written here, Amrut. So you might have any FT or RTGS to Amrut. Okay, I will just write Amrut keyword here and try to filter out. So if you go, we have one is total. Okay, now the next red flag. Can anyone check? Okay, sorry, this should be have been withdrawn. I will make it withdrawal column. Okay. Okay, Amrut Industrial. Now you can start deliberating your slowly analyzing. Okay. So Amrut Industrial deposit was 67 lakh 55,000. Okay. And now let's remove filter from deposit. And so I will keep this as intact. Okay. Amrut. So Amrut has no withdrawal. It's appearing only in deposit side. Okay. Now let's try to analyze few more parties. Okay. Like let's say Marco card. Right. Okay. Marco. So let me put on a filter called Marco. Okay. Now anything strange here? So I tried to search all the transactions where in narration Marco was written. So because Marco is having multiple accounts, so somewhere they are writing Carbide Private Limited, or maybe they can have multiple companies. So wherever Marco was written, I created a filter. Okay, now anything, any suspicious thing which appears here? Any pattern based suspicious thing which is happening if I just zero on down to the Marco card byte. Okay, I'm scrolling to the statement. Just notice in the D and E column. Can you notice anything? Any pattern? You can write in the chat window if you want. Anyone? Anything unusual with this pattern? Withdrawal and deposit? Okay. So let's assume that so I can see in withdrawal. That means Marco is our supplier. Okay. So for the half year or for the 3 months, Marco was our supplier. Okay. So we were never having any uh, payments coming from them. We are just making payment to Marco. Okay. And from after 4 months passed, so now we can see deposits. So this party was our supplier and then it became our customer. Okay. Again, this was unusual. We thought that how can this happen? Okay. For few months, some of the party was your supplier and one fine day reversing starts happening. So you stop dealing with this party and stop receiving, I mean, paying them and instead of receiving them. So it becomes our customer or client. One more thing I will show you. Okay. Now there is one more funny thing happening here. Okay. Let's say if I remove Marco from here. Okay. If I remove Marco from here, because I am analyzing statement of Marco Carbide of firm. Okay. Partnership firm. And I can see transaction with Marco Carbide Private Limited. Okay. So definitely directors and partners are the same. So let's say I apply a reverse filter. Okay. I will say does not contain the keyword called Marco. Does not contain a keyword called Marco. And let's remove the charges, CC account charges from here. Okay, interest. So I will say even does not have INTT, interest from here. Okay, so I will extend this and does not contain INT dot COLL. Okay, now you can clearly see the siphoning. Slowly you can establish that all the funds are slowly being siphoned off. So excluding Marco, they are just basically rotating the from funds. Okay, they are slowly rotating the funds. So there is a set pattern of doing all this thing. You can do any all sort of this analysis like this. Okay, you can make a note of debit credit. What was the debit from Marco? What was my credit? And start making analysis. And definitely you will get many red flags. Okay, something like this. Since we are short of time, I cannot show you the full case study, but 4 to 5 red flags you could very easily find out. Okay, I think this was all which I could show. So now let's start with Q&A, question answers. Please feel free to ask any question if you have regarding the import or regarding this or case study. And I know many of you are waiting for the file. So let me share you this file, this case study dummy file, which all of you. So I will go to the chat window. Let me share you the file I used. Marco Carbide. I'm sharing this because this was a case study. So the file is there in your download, I mean, chat window. Feel free to download this. Okay. I know we are very short of time, so you cannot really practice this. Maybe try importing this after the session is over. And apparently, if you have any question, you can email me. Okay. So I will share my email ID if you want. Okay. And you can WhatsApp me, whatever you want. So you can email me or WhatsApp me if you encounter any issue using this import, okay, during the import. So please try this and any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm sure maybe in the first go, this technique might go tangent, okay, a bit tangent, but give this a try. Maybe 5 to 6, even I had to do this repeat 5 to 6 times in the first instance. But after that, you will slowly get mastery on the Power Query and it would feel very easy. Okay. So first 5 to 6 times, you have to struggle a lot doing all this thing. So don't worry. As Sumit said, the video would be uploaded of all the steps I performed. Let me check for the question. Email. Okay. So email is there. Maybe I'll share my email on the chat window and mobile number also on the chat window. Any questions? Please let me know.
So I have two questions
Hmm.
personally. So one is that with respect to the pivot function which you have shown, so is there any way where we can do a pivot in Power Query editor itself? So because I understand the reference numbers also are aligned, so can we
Hmm.
apply for something like fuzzy lookup so that so the pivot also gets
Definitely. So
automated?
definitely pivot is there. So if we go here, let me show you. But I'm not sure if I can extract keyword something like this. So let me try this. A good thing I would like to try. Okay, so pivot is there, but like let's say currently I can pivot based on maybe date. So let's say if you want to pivot based on date with withdrawals and deposits.
That will
So
not help, right? Right.
yeah, that would definitely not help. That would just for demonstration purpose. So let's say I make a duplicate of this copy and pivot. Okay. So pivot is very easy. You can select the column and pivot is known as a group by in Power Query. So I will say based on this column, I want to group by advanced and I want two columns. So sum of column number one is deposit and I would say sum of withdrawal. And I would say total deposit column name and total withdrawal. Something like we can do something like this. Okay. So it would prepare a day-wise pivot. Now, ideally, we should be if we have some mechanism of extracting names like Radhe or Amrut from this, then it would be very nice for a pivot. But some of
Right.
the portion maybe we'll have to do it with manually. But I would say maybe you would not require this for every statement. Only those statements where apparently we can see siphoning of the funds. So this was a good example of rotation of funds. So if I had carried this example a bit forward for 5 to 10 minutes, we would have seen the rotation of funds where I was able to establish that the total withdrawal and the deposit by multiple parties was almost exactly the same. Okay. Now, for that, we'll have to do a nice keyword based analysis. But something like this you can do for the pivot. So this you can always automate.
So one more question, Dhananjay. I hope you can give me another 2 3 minutes. One is that if you I request you to go to the the Power Query editor once,
Hmm.
and the step at we did null. I mean the date where other than dates.
Okay, so
Right.
basically
So
what I did is,
if you can stay just if you can stay there. So my
yeah,
my question is in the Power Query editor, can I merge the particulars? I mean 5 6 7 8. So in the particulars, the narration, can I merge in one single line?
yeah, you can do something. If you have apparently narration in the first column, you can even do something like this.
No,
Use this as a first one.
in this situation only, in my particulars, my narration runs into 4 lines.
Okay,
And
yeah,
when I
this
close,
narration Power Query you cannot do this. Okay, you have this technique in Excel. So Power Query you will have to set a pattern of ignoring this row. Okay, ignoring this row, and in Excel you can do this. So I have a separate video on my channel. So if you
okay.
go through Excel Kida channel, maybe you will find that row, that video also. So you can go to youtube.com/channel name. Okay. Somewhere I can share that video in the link of that video. Think multi-line narration. Yeah. So you can do this. You cannot fully automate this thing, but yes, definitely you can do this. A bit manual technique, I would say, but works sometimes.
Okay, great.
But yes, Power Query would not be helpful because Power Query cannot really analyze the next. So it cannot do work on the group of rows like this. That first row and all the preceding succeeding row, something like this. So Power Query is very bad at that. So Power Query can simply run an operation for end all the rows of that column. So that is a downside. Maybe you will require some AI thing for this if permitted. Now the issue is that the reason we might not be able to use AI with this. So I would say AI is the best for this, but sometimes I have seen that bank would not allow you
Right.
emailing of
They
the
cannot
statement.
integrate out
Yeah,
via email.
exactly. So this would be a sort of sandbox PC where you don't even have an internet connection. So there your Power Query would only work this. Power Query doesn't require internet. So that is a very foolproof thing which is running very smoothly anywhere. So definitely that is the downside, but at least it will work. So it will at least automate and save some time. Yeah. So any more questions?
So I am good and very good food for thought you have given. So we have next 2 3 days, and if you can, if you were lucky, if you had audit previous year, you can start aligning these with your old text or any formats in case you have. So it would be of a great help.
Definitely. Nowadays, I heard that we are not even lucky enough that we will be getting this bank statement over email. Maybe so. This Power Query now holds a great value because if you are sticking to that specific PC on the bank, then this is very important. Maybe just an internal. If you develop this Power Query template for one bank, you can mail it from one branch to another branch. So that is the at max thing we are left with as auditor.
And one simple refresh would do. So,
Yeah.
and just before I, ask Rahul to offer you a vote of thanks, can this, if we upload a small template on ChatGPT, will it write the tax code for the Power Query?
Maybe it would. Even I never tried it.
Okay.
But Sumit, one thing I'm concerned of, because since DPDP is will almost come, or maybe there are strict regulation, I'm not sure whether we will be able to put that. If you are lucky enough and you can put some sample statement to Chat
I
GPT
only
by,
refer to sample statement. The
yeah,
original bank
definitely.
statement
If you
cannot be
can
put.
make it dummy, just like I am making this
Correct,
text
correct.
file as a dummy. Maybe if you do this and if you ask Power Query, maybe it would be able to generate the DAX query code.
Right, that
Definitely.
was the question because original bank statement is a strict no-no to put in on chat.
Correct.
So in case anyone wants to ask any question, please feel free or we'll quickly be rolling out the session. So it's back to you, Rahul. In case we have questions, we are happy to take. We'll upload this video also on a YouTube channel. So in case or if you want to practice, you can have a hands-on practice. And I hope you have downloaded the Excel file so that it becomes easy to practice simultaneously.
Thank you so much, Deya. I hope there are no more questions. So, as we have completed the session, so I thank you. I acknowledge my heartfelt thanks to our speaker Dhananjay Gokhale for accepting today's invite out of his busy schedule, and he has delivered so wonderfully, and each and every minute details he has explained us practically. So I hope all the participants, all the friends and members who have joined us with the session will be greatly benefited while doing their bank audit. So because these are the major things which we need to know that how to, because as things are being automated every day, so we need to also automate ourselves. And the insight shared by Dhananjay was really really great and would be really very helpful. As Sumit Bhaiya mentioned that the recording will be updated on our YouTube channel. So it's our channel is in the name of VIP Road Chartered Accountants Association. So request everyone to please subscribe to the channel and get our latest updates, because we keep on having events, not only for Tech Fridays, but for multiple events we are having. So it will be very insightful, as well as it will be very helpful for our members to be updated. So with this note, I conclude the session. So thank you so much, Dhananjay, for being with us. Thank you all the participants for being with us and to be benefited. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Dhananjay.
you.